It was so cold on Inauguration Day in 1994, but nothing could chill the excitement as George Allen was sworn in as Virginia's 67th governor.
Virginians want their government to once again reflect their wisdom, their good common sense, and their pride in self-determination and self-reliance. Virginians understand that the government has been steadily whittling away at their freedoms. Virginians know that government policies have been diminishing opportunity and stifling initiative under the heavy, grimy boot of excessive taxation and spending and regulation.
Thomas Jefferson once said, "The care of human life and happiness, and not their destruction, is the first and only legitimate object of good government." No one knew that better than George Allen. To make Virginia a better place, a place where life was honored, happiness could be pursued, and freedom would reign. That's what led George Allen to seek the Commonwealth's highest office and make changes that enrich Virginia to this very day. From the start, George Allen's quest proved to be a break from tradition. Many thought he would lose, and many were mistaken. They didn't yet grasp what George Allen already knew, that Virginians longed for a governor they could trust, a leader who would keep his word, restore integrity to our government, and make us proud once again. That was the moment during which George Allen began his campaign. And as the pundits soon learned, George Allen was the man for that moment. Outspent and 28 points down early on, he confounded the experts by overcoming the odds and racking up an astounding 58% of the vote. George Allen often said, "Work hard and watch good things happen." He and his insurgents did just that, turning the campaign into a revolution and achieving an overwhelming victory and mandate for change.
According to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Comparisons to Ronald Reagan came quickly as people saw the same kind of sunny outlook and commitment to change. But George Allen's historic win wasn't just the result of his positive vision for Virginia. It was fueled by his promise to the voters to work tirelessly to deliver some of the most ambitious reforms in Virginia's history. And it didn't end with Election Day either, not by a long shot. When George Allen was inaugurated, the Virginia establishment was absolutely stunned. They were shocked by his 45% about turn in the polls, and they were incredulous that he actually intended to keep his promises. But for Governor Allen, keeping your word to the people of Virginia wasn't a political tactic. It was a matter of personal integrity. That's why, from the very beginning, his campaign creed was, he keeps his promises. And keep his promises he did. Once in office, Governor Allen proved just how much Jefferson's words meant to him.
Government should not take from the mouths of labor the bread they have earned. That was the sum of good government 200 years ago, and it still is the sum of good government.
And so he set out to make Virginia's government work once again for the people of Virginia. He tackled Virginia's many challenges with his optimistic, can-do spirit, boundless energy, and rock-solid resolve to always do the right thing. He worked across party lines too, joining with people of all races and places to solve some of our most vexing problems. He put his principles, Virginia's principles, to work so our Commonwealth could be a better place for all Virginians. And he did exactly what he said he'd do. He kept his promises. To say all this got some notice would be an understatement. As the Richmond Times-Dispatch wrote a year after his inauguration, Governor Allen has been nothing less than radical. He's actually doing what he promised voters he would. He has stuck to the script of his campaign promises, and his agenda is among the most far-reaching of any Virginia governor this century. And in keeping his promises, Governor Allen created a lasting legacy that will continue to live on for many years to come. In just 4 short years, Governor Allen and the ATeam proved the power of their vision and ushered in a virtual renaissance of opportunity and prosperity. They abolished parole for violent criminals, modernized Virginia's juvenile justice system, adopted the nation's most comprehensive welfare reform measures, implemented rigorous, nationally acclaimed standards of learning in Virginia's schools, simplified or outright repealed over 70% of burdensome state regulations, reduced state government employment by over 10,000 positions, brought a record $14 billion in new investment to Virginia, and created over 300,000 new private sector jobs. But even this list just scratches the surface. During his 4-year term, Governor Allen also launched a new public-private transportation initiatives, established a water quality improvement fund to help clean up the Chesapeake Bay, transformed Virginia into the Silicon Dominion, achieved much-needed tax relief for senior citizens, protected the most vulnerable with a strong but compassionate parental notification law, appointed highly qualified judges who followed the law, including the outstanding jurist who became the first woman in Virginia history to serve as Chief Justice, made historic investments in K-12 and higher education, combining new funding with sweeping reforms and a tuition freeze, built job-creating enterprise zones in rural communities and inner cities, promoted Virginia goods and services to trading partners across the globe, and much, much more. And he did all this even as the General Assembly was controlled by the other party. How? By reaching across the aisle to put the people of Virginia ahead of partisan politics. With clear vision, unflagging optimism, and a determination to make government work for the people of Virginia, the Allen administration achieved more than many had thought possible just 4 years earlier. And throughout, the governor and first lady demonstrated so beautifully what family values are all about. Virginia soon learned why George fell so hard for Susan as they experienced her warmth, energy, and commitment. She touched so many lives with her service, became a trusted leader for breast cancer awareness, and set a new standard for first ladies to come. Even after the most hectic days, Governor and Mrs. Allen gathered for dinner with their growing family. There, the talk was about Tyler and Forrest's school, sports, and activities, and the coming arrival of little Brooke. And the Allens always injected a lot of fun in the busy days of the ATeam staff. From great all-hands gatherings to memorable meals at Chickens, it was a special time for them, as it was for all of us. And as the Allen administration concluded in 1998, the governor left office with an approval rating of nearly 80%. But he left with something else too, which, like his legacy, will long stand the test of time: the gratitude of literally millions of Virginians, for honoring his word and keeping his promises, for once again making Virginia a deeply respected leader, for demonstrating the empowering and compassionate nature of conservatism, for reminding all of us what honest, dignified, and courageous servant leadership looks like, and for creating the future Virginians have enjoyed these past 25 years and will continue to cherish for years to come. And so, on behalf of ourselves, our families, and all Virginians, we say thank you, Governor Allen. Thank you, Susan. Your extraordinary service has made Virginia a better place to live, learn, work, and raise a family for generations to come.